you supposedly see these native tribes and things like that, and you're saying it's not too bad. Okay, but this is a horror film, and it's meant to showcase a lot of blood and guts and brains and all that stuff. So what these directors chose to do with these cannibal films is, yeah, they put the natives, in jungle natives, in there, but then they add all this stuff about the natives wanting to get revenge on the white people that come into their jungle and rape and kill their people, and so it's kind of a revenge film in the jungle. Plus the fact that these characters are cannibals, so after they kill the people, they usually will eat them, whether it's their intestines or their brains, or in the case of this film, which has the big castration scene where a guy's penis is cut off and eaten by one of the cannibals as retribution for a crime that the guy had previously committed against one of the cannibals. So these are really a bizarre, over-the-top gore films, really, exploitation films. I have seen some cannibal films that aren't quite this graphic. Like Jungle Holocaust, that's one that's not that graphic and doesn't show a lot of cannibal scenes. But Cannibal Ferox and the next one I'm going to show here in just a bit, they are hardcore and they don't play around, and you know, they pretty much make good on this warning that says, due to its shocking and violent subject matter, no one under 17 should view this film. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't watch this film when I was under 17, because the very first time I saw this film, I was probably 12 or 13 years old. And I've seen it many times since then. But growing up, I was always a horror fan. So this kind of stuff was just like icing on the cake for me. I wanted to see this stuff. But for people that are not familiar with it, it's going to be quite a shock to them, because they're not going to expect this when you put this film in. And even if you warn them beforehand, they're still not going to be sure of what exactly they're in for until they're already in the middle of it. So again, Cannibal Ferox would be one you might want to sideline for a little bit, just until the person gets used to the type of films that you're going to show them. Okay, the next one is also a cannibal film. This is Cannibal Holocaust. And again, it has the same warning that no one under 17 should view this film. I didn't see this movie until approximately 2 to 3 years ago. I bought it primarily based on what I'd heard about it, that it was one of the most vicious films ever made, and also, like it says here on the box, the most controversial movie ever made. It is sort of one of these films, kind of like the Blair Witch Project, only the Blair Witch Project came much later, where there's some found footage that is supposedly supposed to be from some filmmakers who went into the jungle to film cannibals, and ended up getting murdered and eaten by the cannibals. And it also is a revenge flick, because it's another one of those where the white man goes in the jungle and they kind of destroy these cannibal tribes in the most vicious ways possibly, and they are punished for it. And there is one particular scene in this that I know would turn some people off, and that includes, and I kid you not, a pole running from a woman's behind all the way up through her mouth. And the camera lingers on that shot for quite a while. And you know, it's another one of those things where you can tell the person, okay, that's what's going to be in this film, and I'm warning you about it now before we watch it, but it's not going to do any good. It's just not. If they've never seen anything like it, chances are they're going to be like, just turn it off. Turn it off. I don't want to see it anymore. Don't ever bring any movies like that to my house again. Also, guys, it wouldn't be a good idea to show your girlfriend, your wife, these types of films unless they're a horror fan like you are and you're sure they can handle it. So, that's Cannibal Holocaust. Next film is The Evil Dead, and again, some of you that have seen The Evil Dead many times may be thinking, oh my gosh, how can you put that in this list of films not to show to a non-horror fan? Well, you know, the special effects at times in this film are very primitive. They might be a little cheesy, but I still think the effects are good. Very good for the time that this was made. The filmmakers did what they could with the resources they had. Sam Raimi did a masterful job of directing this film. And there are some scenes in here that would probably turn just a regular movie watching person off completely. And one of those would be the infamous tree rape scene where the woman goes out in the woods and is literally raped by a tree. A tree enters her body, and it is not, I will admit, it's not a pretty sight, and it looks painful, and some people just will not be able to take it. In addition, you have people getting their heads cut off, people getting their faces burnt, people turning into demons. There's just all kinds of things in this film that, much like the regular demon possession films, even though this kind of has a hokey, over-the-top element to it at times, that demonic possession element is still there and may possibly still creep some people out. That combined with the gory special effects. Okay, so that's The Evil Dead. The next two, or actually the last two I'm going to show, are more demon possession films. The first one is the classic William Friedkin directed The Exorcist, starring Linda Blair as the little girl that gets possessed. And this is another film that I'm not going to go into a lot of details about what the film is about, because for the most part, people know The Exorcist. I do have a funny story about The Exorcist, though, that kind of ties in with the reason why you wouldn't want to show this film to somebody that's not seen many horror films in their life. Is when my mom and dad were dating, they went to see this film when it came out, at the drive-in. And they went with another couple. They went on a double date and ended up seeing The Exorcist at the drive-in. So, at the time, my parents were fine with this movie. Now they're not real big on it, and my dad refuses to watch it. But at the time, you know, that was their thing. Go to the drive-in, go see movies. Well, the other couple that was with them, this is what's so funny. The guy covered his eyes through half of the film, could not stand the film. Once the demonic possession started, it was just like he had his eyes covered the whole time. And I had to laugh at that personally, because I'm such a huge horror fan that I've seen The Exorcist many, many times, and I don't know if it's because I'm desensitized to it or what the deal is, but one, it doesn't scare me. There might be some creepy elements in it, but it doesn't scare me. It doesn't terrify me. I'm not going to lose sleep after watching it. But some people will. It really gets inside them